all nervous. My pants are wet now.
I think we're rolling.
Oh, oh, my pants are wet. Hi, my name is...
I'm ready.
Okay, I thought... I didn't want to be like, is that your real voice?
Hi, my name is Adira Sharkey.
My name is Socorra, and we're talking...
Arts and Crafts.
With Bo.
Yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter. I play guitar and I sing and I write songs. But I think it's that my playing is characterized by a lot of finger picking on a big acoustic guitar, big dreadnought acoustic guitar, and I've been influenced by a lot of like folk and Americana.
There's a dog right here, so Zoe. How would I describe my craft or my art, or the arts and the crafts?
Both.
What's the difference? I predominantly these days play electric guitar, and I guess I would classify it as rock and roll. It's very, the genre war game thing is stressful, and I've tried to stress less about that and not put energy into trying to like put myself in boxes to describe it. But yeah, I like to be loud, and I'm a loud singer naturally, and the electric guitar helps me not feel so alone in my loudness versus acoustic guitar. Most of the songs I've written are on acoustic guitar, but it feels more at home when they're applied to the electric guitar. So that's what I've been doing as of late.
I think just word-wise, craft sort of has like a connotation about the thing being made, like something being made, whereas art can just be something that's appreciated. I feel like you can see art in nature, whereas when you talk about somebody's craft, it's like this thing that they have like made. Of course, we make art also, right? To me, that's what the difference in the words are, but I think...
Yeah, I think the word craft sometimes gives me that, like, what am I trying to say? Like, it's taken time to mold.
Like a discipline.
Into a piece of art. Yeah, like you have to work at your craft to create a piece of art. I think that's how I've started to look at it, when it's like I spend a lot of time practicing or going to shows and like working on the craft of being a music listener and meeting people at shows, like meeting other bands and getting to work on that side of being a working musician. So that's kind of how I've been seeing it.
So how long, like when did the craft that you described, how long have you been doing it?
Let's see, I started when I was the dog.
Oh, I saw my feet.
I started when I was 10 on the drums, and then once I was like in my preteens, I started writing what I thought were songs or poems or whatever, and you know, I wanted to have something portable to play along with it, and I would sing my songs but play the drums to them. So now a lot of my songwriting is written around a drum set and always drums in mind. It's like, oh yeah, I'm playing guitar. Guitar is like always secondary to me almost. But yeah, I think 13, 14 picked up the guitar, and I've been playing that ever since, like 17, 18 years now. But being an active musician, like working at it, only like the last maybe 3 years, something like that.
Yeah, for me, music has always been around. My parents aren't musicians, but they've got great taste in music, and so it was always around. My sister and I had been singing songs together and like beating on stuff and
being a drummer.
As in, like, yeah, we were being a drummer. We would like write songs in the car together on road trips, and and so our parents got us. They were like, okay, we're gonna get these punks in some music real quick. And my sister had piano, and I actually played trombone for some years, and was involved in like concert band and jazz band and doing all that. And then in high school, all the cool kids were like playing guitar, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna learn how to play one song. And I had already been writing a lot of poetry and sort of singing these weird little songs or like poems that I wrote, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, but I didn't really connect. I didn't want to I just wanted to learn Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd so that when we were all like sitting in the circle, I'd be like, yeah, pass it over here, you know?
You had something to contribute.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah. And so and then it just never stopped. I just couldn't stop playing the guitar, and I never learned how to use a pick. And so I always just kind of started finger picking because I didn't know. I can't hold a pick. I can't hold a pick, and so I started finger picking and writing sort of melodies on the guitar, and then singing, writing lyrics to go with the melodies that I wrote on guitar, and that's been going on since I was like 14. But same with you, like actively pursuing I've been actively pursuing music for the last 3 to 5 years, I'd say.
But you went this.
Before,
the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. First paid job.
That's so funny because I worked at a place called Cottage Crafts Boutique. So it was a craft store. Well, there was some materials for crafting, but actually it was more stuff that other people crafted. So it was like this wonderful, it was like this wonderful little grandma store that sold all these crafts that other people had made, meaning like cute magnets and buttons and like aprons and things like that. And that was when I was a freshman in high school. So that was my first ever like clocking in for work, like job.
This dog right now. My first job. Gosh. I mean, my mom used to be an Avon lady, and I used to help her do that. And if we wanted something out of the catalog, she'd be like, okay, well, you gotta, pack so many, you gotta pack so many, so many bags and walk with me and do these things, and you'd earn your whatever you want.
Your chapstick.
Yeah, this dog. It's cracking me up. Yeah, you'd earn your chapstick. And then, let's see, I worked at a minor league baseball stadium in San Jose, and I did concessions, and I'd come home, like 16, like come home smelling like beer and nachos and that typical kind of summer teenage job smell.
Beer and nachos.
All over my shirt.
Nothing better.
So yeah.
I started playing shows when I was 16 or 17. And that was fun, and I had a really good time doing that, and I was kind of just like sharing these songs that I wrote, and my friends were enjoying it, and I had a good time playing. And then there were some years where I kind of did other things, right? Or I got really, to skip ahead, I got weighed down by this expectation I had for myself to be performing more, or writing a certain kind of song, or writing songs that people would enjoy or something. And so I kind of let it fall by the wayside, the songwriting. And I found that that was even worse than not playing. So, and Socorra and I had talked a lot about this on tour and beforehand, but it hurts worse to not practice your craft, I guess. It hurts worse to not be writing, and that's what I found when I look in my life at times when I'm feeling really happy and feeling really fulfilled. I'm also pursuing music, and that means either writing it or playing it for other people, or making music with other people. So that's when I'm happiest. And so about 3 or 4 years ago, I sort of had a moment where I was like, you know what, I need to just write for myself first, because it feels good, and that's how I can process a lot of what's just going on in my life, and just to sing and write songs for myself, and then if I share them with other people, that's cool too. And so that's what's been happening for the last few years.
So after college, I went into the Peace Corps, and I brought a guitar because I was writing songs and I was performing in college, but I was a biology major, so I was like going to do like research, like that's what I wanted to do. In Peace Corps, I had always wanted to do Peace Corps, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it now, or I might not ever do it. So jumped on over to Africa and did that for a couple of years, but in Peace Corps, I started playing music around the country in my friends' villages, and it was a way for me to connect with people who I could not speak with yet. Like, I could not speak Arabic yet, so it was a way for me to talk to them because we could all hear the same thing. And I think my fear of getting out there and doing that was slowly like being chipped away. And then I get back home and I took an internship at an indie record label because I was still like, I'll work behind the scenes. I don't want to be, or I didn't think I was good enough, and I wasn't this and I wasn't that, and blah, 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 all these things on TV. I wasn't an MTV, like, you know, female star or whatever. So, but I think, you know, I would hear the music being made down the hallway, and
Sorry, dog.
dog. And I was just ready to leave that internship and be the one making the music down the hallway. So got back and didn't know anybody in San Jose who was playing music because I didn't go to college, you know, at home or anything like that. So it was really like from the ground up, just going to every open mic and talking to people I thought were cool. And since then it's kind of bloomed into this big thing, and like now we're doing like this tour, and that's been another like notch, you know, like another tick mark, like, okay, cool, I can say I've done that and I've experienced it, you know, we'll do it again, we'll do it differently, you know, things like that. So it was the way I saw music connecting with people who didn't speak your like native tongue, or you didn't speak their native tongue, and how powerful it was, that I think gave me confidence to be like, well, shit, if I can do it in Morocco, I could do it here, and just giving it a go. And it's been cool. It's been fun.
I love Give It a Go. That is a very British YouTuber. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give it a go.
I'm just gonna give it a go.
So, see to me right now.
It might get mental, but I'm just gonna give it a go.
Yeah, so before I hand it over to Socorra, because she really did most of that, I will just say that there's a lot of people out there talking about, like, you know, you just like, maybe we should put her, she's bumping into things, what do you think? I don't know.
So
you're gonna be cool? You can be cool? People talk a lot about, like, putting what you want out into the universe, or like manifesting your thing, you know, and just like put it out there. And however you feel about the woo-woo stuff, like what I did was, as an artist, it's like you don't want to talk about what your goals are. I have found it's almost like you don't want to jinx it, right? And you don't want to sound like you're taking yourself too seriously, and you don't want to, you know, and so you're like, oh, I'll see if I write that song, like I'll see if I do it, and if I do it, then I'm doing it. But yeah. I have found that the more that you talk about what you want, the more connections you're able to make with people who either want the same or who know somebody who can help you with that, right? And so for me, knowing Socorra, we were just kind of having a conversation. She was helping me record some demos, and it came up, and I said, you know, I think it'd be really nice to go on tour. And if I hadn't voiced that goal, then you wouldn't have thought to include me in this trip and experience, and so that worked out really well for me. But as far as booking, so that's what I did, you know. As far as like booking the venues and things like that, how was that? Emails for days, right?
Emails. You know, I had wanted to do it. I had been wanting to go on tour for a while, and wanted to just get out and visit friends up the West Coast that I haven't seen, and this was a cool way to share what I was doing musically with them, to include them at shows and everything. And so I just started with like a Google map, and I just plucked down cities that I knew people in. Like I knew I had friends, and if I had friends, those two people would at least come to the show, or would point me in the direction if they're music lovers, like, hey, check out this local band, I just saw them the other night at this venue, or, you know, they just know what's up. So that's where I started, and I, you know, threw out some feelers on Instagram, like, hey guys, going on tour, any recommendations? And people were really kind and responding back, and there's like a Facebook DIY touring group that I joined, and was just asking all sorts of questions to get advice from touring bands all over the country, and it kind of just started from there. We narrowed it down to like a time frame that we could go, and that really helped create that boundary where we could pitch to venues like, here's who we are, have a listen, do you have this date open? And luckily it's just, it has unfolded how it has with the So Far shows and like the venue shows, and pairing up with a couple local artists to join us as well has just been part of like, I think the mission of like connecting with people via like sharing our songs and meeting local musicians, sharing their songs with their people, and can they all connect at venues like what happened last night at Strum. Like that was really cool. But yeah, lots of emails, like, lots of like, we have this gap, oh no, but the gap for me, like, between shows has been really great.
When you say gap, you mean like the days in between gigs.
Yeah. And I think like, it would have been nice to have 2 more shows probably, but then maybe it's okay because it's our first tour and it's nice to like not have to do a show every single night and just rest for a little bit, or like go do the dorky tourist stuff that we both enjoy doing. It's like, we did the underground tour in Seattle, and I was like, let's go underground in Seattle. That sounds awesome.
Go do the underground tour in
Go
Seattle.
do it. It's so
Whoever,
cool.
You must go.
But that took up like a good portion of our afternoon, and if we had to be at a venue right after that, I mean,
not possible.
I might have been like, we have to go super early in the morning, or not go at all. So it allows me time to like explore the city that I'm in more. But yeah, a lot of nitty gritty admin work. But it's what you gotta do.
Yeah, the most challenging part of tour?
One of the things is eating.
Oh yeah.
The food thing. Like, we are eaters, so that's not like the problem. It's that
the snack bag.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we like.
We both always agree. We're like, you hungry? 100%. We gotta eat right now.
The emptiness inside. But yeah, I think just like, I think we both realize like how much we eat at home to sustain like we both have really busy schedules back home, and that we haven't been, and obviously everything's connected, and so it's perhaps affecting our energy levels at certain points, or things like that. So I think it's been difficult to like get a lunch in or get a dinner in, because when it's dinner time, that's when you're at the venue setting up, and then it's showtime. It's like what?
And for me, it's like you have this like this bubbly sort of excitement that makes me not hungry. It's sort of like the hunger sort of clicks off. But honestly, for us, it's been really unusual to be skipping meals. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like we're having difficulty finding the food. It's like we'll just realize, like, was it last night? Yeah.
Yeah, we like
last night we didn't eat dinner.
Yeah.
We got home and we're like, like shove this salad in quick at like 11:30 p.m. But anyway, so that was unexpected.
So that's been hard, I think, which maybe is not an expected answer. Food.
That's good though. I don't think people
it's
find the admin around like rest and food.
Yeah.
What about your? We talked about this over lunch. Your temperament, your energy levels, and the way you guys. I'm glad that you guys got along.
Yeah.
Because that was
We're
not
glad
guaranteed.
too.
We are very glad.
So the joke was like, I knew Socorra from playing shows and from being in the music scene, and I had zero beef. I thought she was super cool. I had a lot of respect for her, and I really loved her music. And she had given me a ton of good advice and had been a friend, but we weren't super close, right? So I was kind of worried. I was like, am I gonna burn a bridge right now with this person? Are we gonna realize that we're not? I actually was worried about my off-color humor. Honestly,
She's like gearing up for hers.
Exactly. And I was like, oh my god, because you want to be, you have to be mindful of other people's priorities and their space and their time and everything. And we were sharing a car, and we were going to go on this trip for 2.5 weeks together. But luckily, we get along famously.
It's worked out well,
and it's been really fun.
So go play with yourself. Go play with yourself. Don't put that
man.
Go play with yourself, Zoe.
Hey,
she
Zoe.
doesn't want to. She's so
go lay down.
Lay down.
What do most people know you for? And this could be 2 different things, like your student that student world versus maybe people who know you as a musician? And what is something that outsiders would not know from you by just looking at, let's say, like your Instagrams or your social media?
I know it's been interesting because I'm a science educator and I've been an outdoor educator. So I've done the science teacher thing outside. I've done it in museums, and now I'm working at a high school as a bilingual educatar. So I work with English language learners, and it's been one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. I really, really love working at Del Mar High School. But on the other hand, I think a lot of people know me for the music, or they know me for playing guitar and singing and kind of being a goofy person. I think I'm known as sort of a silly person. So just outside from any sort of like thing that I do. But it's been interesting because before I, like on Instagram, before I made it an official band page, I think I had more things that looked like an outdoor educator would have, right? And I was like posting the hiking stuff and posting the, I was an intern in a Presidio and we did like archaeology field trips for kids, and I had more of that. And now I feel like I it's almost like I can't represent both of those sides of myself. Not that there's only two, but that because my online presence now is so music focused, so I have to think about that. Like, oh well, does this go with? I don't know. Do I how much of the teacher part of me do I put out there if what I'm trying to do is promote the music? So that's been interesting, sort of finding the balance there. And I feel like for you it's different because you're a music teacher, right? And so for other people from the outside, they can see you that, oh, she's in a band, she sings, and she teaches kids music, right? And for me it's like, how do I don't write songs about science, right? Like I write some things that are kind of dark and creepy and weird and maybe not like totally kid friendly a lot of the time. So it's been kind of like, is there one Adira that's the science educator, one Adira that's this like creepy songwriter? I know that they're the same person.
Yeah, like where do they get to intersect in a public way?
And like do people, I don't know, people I don't think see that intersection online, but for you it's kind of like, oh yeah, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think nowadays, and I mean it I also like incorporate it in my like what I talk about. I mean, I talked about being a teacher last night. Like did I say teacher or t-shirt?
I'm a t-shirt during the day. Sometimes I'm pants.
I think some people, or most people, I think in the like arts community in San Jose, associate me with working at the School of Rock and like being a music teacher there, because I talk about it because I'm out there with the kids in the community, doing community events with them, and I think it's hard to like disconnect from that sometimes. But I'm very, very grateful for the time that I've been working at the school. It's afforded me like opportunities to do more of this type of stuff because I've been learning through teaching the kids. But I'm also like, maybe they wouldn't know it's something I'm interested in, but they can see me doing it is like, I'm really into recruiting and like connect, but they're like, oh, well that makes sense because you like connecting people, and like I think I'm like a hyperactive like community collaborator person. It's like one of my favorite things to do is to just like pass on opportunities that I get asked to like book for events or something, and I'm like, okay, cool, and I just throw it out there and see who wants to play these events, and that's been cool to kind of like get into that role, but that wasn't my intention when I was playing music. It was like, I'm playing my own gigs, you play your own gigs, like I'm not the head of this, I don't make any of these decisions. But now I've been put in a position to kind of like curate stuff, and that's been really fun to do.
Do you think you'd ever do that? Do you think that would ever take more of you and your time than your own music?
I don't know. I think I sometimes I really like it, and it's funny because like I stopped doing the business stuff, like being the intern, doing that like back end work because I wanted to be the musician. But I'm finding that now I balance it a little bit more. But well, we'll see. Like when I want to take a break, but I still want to be involved in music. Like I play drums for other people's bands, and that's a way for me to still be involved, but I don't have to sing. And it's not me. It's not my project. I'm just helping someone else with their project, and that's always fun. And I'm looking forward to like doing that in a couple of months and just kind of while the EP is getting mixed and mastered and all that's happening, that's out of my control to like, I don't have to be in the studio doing all that all the time. I'm looking forward to just playing drums for people and like resting the voice. It's gonna be fun. They can just go to my website, socorramusic.com, and that's like the hub, the headquarters for everything. But I'm on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. I think you can just type Socorra in, and I usually pop up first because we have weird names.
Yeah, I know. Such a plus of having the funny name that no one could ever pronounce, but now it's like top of that Google, baby. You know? Ain't nobody,
SEO.
nobody competing with that. Yeah, same. Adira Shark is the Facebook and the Instagram handle, but my name's Adira Sharkey, and hopefully coming soon to a computer near you will be adirasharkey.com.
Yeah.
But you can also find some of my songs on SoundCloud and YouTube, actually. There's a number of good live performances and also stuff that we've just recorded at home.
Touch all the buttons.
The links will be in the description box
The
below.
worst is when I do that and then I'll forget in the editing process too tired to put the stuff there.
So it's
And I'm
just
like, just click here, and then it's nothing.
yeah.
Screw it, it took too long to upload that. I'm gonna count that as
No cards.
Yeah. the last thing you changed your mind about.
Adira. I'm kidding.
You changed your mind about me. You did?
It could be small.
I said, no, I'm
kidding.
okay. I was like,
totally kidding. I thought that would go over well.
She's like, I thought it was funny. Drummer, but
But it was more like wah wah wah.
Yeah.
earlier I had my hair up in a bun, and then I was like, no. I'm gonna take it down.
I love the way you laughed at yours.
Okay.
Say the
Honestly,
more profound thing.
A more serious thing I just changed my mind about was those harmonies that we did on that, you know? I had to change my mind about that. I was like, you know, do I want to keep doing the low harmonies, or I'm just going to sing with Isabel? And I was like, you know what? Mind changed.
See, last thing I changed my mind about.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Not ironing. Ironing my shirt. I was like, oh, I want to wear this, and I took it out, and instead of being like, I'm not going to wear it because it's wrinkly, I was like, let's iron the shirt. And then you ironed it. You ironed this shirt.
Yeah, and then I started ironing. We were having like a whole iron party. Yeah, it was pretty great.
It's been a long time since I've ironed something.
It's kind of a good feeling. You feel like I felt like I was fixing the world.
Well, you see immediate shifts and changes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is not like a child.
It's-
I can just apply heat and all of the.
It's
Yeah.
not like
Well,
a
there is
child.
that part.
Like I
I
can
know,
apply heat, and I can mold it to what I want it, but a kid, I can't do that.
I'm trying.
You burn them.
Yeah, you ever try to apply heat to a child? It never works.
No, like teaching.
Right.
You can invest for 4 years, and then maybe you see inklings of growth, and you know what's going on, but you can't see it. It's like not immediate gratification.
Right.
But like you iron a shirt, and you're like, shirt was wrinkly, shirt is de-wrinkled.
Exactly.
No longer wrinkle.
Shift.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mind change.
Mind change.
Mind change.
Shirt shift. I could have came out really.
Shirt shift.
Oh, I'm a t-shirt. Yeah. Are you still a t-shirt?
So I'm gonna ask you a question, and I'm gonna go grab. Where is your guitar? Right there.
Yes.
Do you mind me grabbing it?
No.
So.
To write music. You know, it really just feels like a compulsion that I have to listen to now, and I think the more that I think of it like that, it's just a part of my like mental health and part of what is in the equation of a happy me. That's what gets me to sit down and start writing. But as far as inspiring, when I hear, you know what? When I hear a really good story, whether it's a poet or a musician or someone just telling me a story, or like when I hear a good like piece of history or something, I feel that like, oh, I really want to be able to tell a story like that musically or lyrically, and I want to. That is a lot of the time what it boils down to, in a lot of different kind of art forms. I think, okay, you know what, I better sit down and try and tell a story right now. I'll probably feel better. Yeah.
For me, it's more about different sounds that I'm hearing. I wouldn't classify myself as a lyric forward songwriter. It's usually me noodling around on the guitar or even playing drums, and I just start humming something. And for the vibe that puts off triggers some sort of memory of a story someone told me or something that happened to me that now it seems to mesh together. Because there's a lot of oftentimes I will write instrumentals, like full backing tracks, and I'll give it a title because it feels like this song would be called this. And then I leave it in a folder called just, like, Not That Crappy. That's the name of the folder, Not That Crappy. Mediocre ideas. And then when it feels like a lyric idea matches up with that, sometimes they like come together. Or I start writing and I'm like, hey, wait, I'm writing about what I titled that instrumental. And it's a weird thing, sometimes it matches up. So yeah, different sounds. I love listening to new bands, though. Like now, like I don't listen to too much music because there's just a lot of noise. So I like to drive in silence, but even then I'm still coming up with stuff. I'll pull over to the side of the road and record a voice memo real quick. But yeah, it's usually sounds.
Make up a theme song.
For you?
Yeah, for you guys' episode.
I'll play the chords, you say the words.
Okay.
So I'll play.
For that dance that I was trying. Woo!